All right, let's talk about success. We often think it's a straight line to the top. But what if I told you that sometimes the road to getting everything you want is paved with, well, total crushing failure? It's a crazy thought, right? That our biggest successes could actually grow from the rubble of our biggest failures? Well, it turns out those moments that feel like the absolute end, they're often just the beginning in disguise. And the story we're going to get into today, it's the perfect example. So today, we're going to follow the story of this young man who literally poured every ounce of his being into one single dream, only to see it completely shattered right at the finish line. But here's the thing. It's what happens after the dream breaks that really shows you who someone is. Let's dive in. Okay, so our story starts with a guy named Aryan, and he has this one big dream. I mean, a truly all-consuming ambition. And look, this wasn't just some casual, oh, I think I'll be a kind of thing. No way. For Aryan, becoming a high-ranking government officer, that was everything. It was his whole identity, his future, all his family's hopes and dreams, all rolled into one single target. So to make this happen, he didn't just study hard. He basically went into exile. For 4 years, he put himself through what you could only call penance, just total, nonstop sacrifice. Just think about that. 4 years. For 4 solid years, his entire life was on pause. Every single day was just about getting to that one goal. Can you even imagine the kind of focus and discipline that takes? And this was the real price he paid. He pretty much just locked himself away from everything. His room wasn't just a room, it was his entire world. You know, while everyone else was out living their lives, seeing friends, going to festivals, his only friends were his books. He basically traded his entire youth for this one shot. And it looked like it was all gonna pay off. I mean, he crushed the exams, made it all the way to the final interview. He was so close. He was on the home stretch. After everything he'd given up, he was totally 100% confident that his name was gonna be on that list. He could practically taste it. And then the results came out. This was supposed to be it, the biggest day of his life. He grabs the list, his heart is probably pounding, and he's scanning for his roll number. He looks once, twice, a dozen times, and it's not there, just nothing. In an instant, that incredible moment of victory he'd played over and over in his head for 4 years, it just evaporated. And the worst part, the reason why, he missed it by 2 marks. Can you believe that? 2 lousy points. That's all that stood between him and the life he had given up everything for. It's just brutal. And just like that, his whole world came crashing down. Those 4 years of sacrifice, his parents' hopes, his entire identity, it all just crumbled into dust. He felt like his life was completely over, and he fell into a really deep, dark depression. But you know what? This right here, this isn't the end of the story. This is actually where it really begins. After months of being locked away, not with his books this time, but just with his own despair, something started to change. He randomly picked up one of his old study diaries, and as he was flipping through the pages, he saw something incredible. It wasn't just his old notes, it was a pattern. He saw how he'd come up with all these little stories and analogies, all these clever ways to break down really complicated topics and make them super simple. And that was it. That was the light bulb moment. He realized he didn't actually want the job title of a government officer. He wanted the purpose behind it, the chance to teach people and make a real difference. His true calling, his superpower, was teaching. The job was just the package he thought it came in, but the skill itself, that was the real gift. And once he saw that, everything changed. He stopped seeing himself as a failure. Instead, he decided to take the broken pieces of his old dream and build something brand new. And here's the best part. He actually did something about it. He started small, opened up a little teaching center, but his mission was crystal clear. He wanted to help students who didn't have the money for that super expensive coaching. And from that tiny start, he grew into a mentor for thousands and thousands of students. Just pause and think about that. If he'd gotten those 2 extra marks, right now he'd probably be sitting in some office buried under a pile of files. Sure, he'd be a success, but his impact would be so much smaller. Because he failed, he's now changing thousands of lives. His failure actually opened the door to a much bigger purpose. So, what's the big takeaway from Aryan's amazing story? Well, this isn't just about him. It's a lesson for every single one of us. The main thing is this: failure doesn't always mean your path is blocked. A lot of the time, it just means you're being guided to a different and often much bigger one. It's like the universe is saying, hey, that path you thought you wanted? Yeah, there's something way better for you over here. So if you're out there right now and you're feeling like you failed, like it's all over, just remember this story. Because that feeling, that's not the end. It's the beginning of your next chapter. And that's the question I really want to leave you with. Think about your own life, your own setbacks. What new path could your biggest failure actually be leading you to? What if it's not an obstacle at all, but a signpost pointing you towards something incredible?